Hey guys, what's up? It's Rygar the Destroyer, and today I'm going to do something that's kind of different for my channel. It's going to be a tutorial on how to make these little sandbags. These are great for dioramas and shelf displays, and they're pretty easy to make, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make those. But first, I'll need to run through the materials you'll need to actually do this project. So first off, you'll need a sewing machine, hot glue gun, and some sand. I think you should use something with a large grain, but really any kind of sand will work. You'll also want an old bucket or pot, a couple pairs of scissors. This one here is for fabric, and this one's for pretty much everything else, just a basic pair of scissors. You'll want a ruler, a plastic spoon, like a disposable one, a pen, a coat hanger, and finally you'll want an old white t-shirt. It doesn't have to be white. If you don't want, it can be like a tan brown color also, and if it's the brown tan color, you can skip one of the steps. It'll become obvious which one you skip later in the video. So it's a pretty easy project. It's kind of tedious, but it ends up looking really nice. So let's go ahead and jump into the tutorial. Okay, we're going to start out by staining the old white t-shirt. So what you're going to do is you're going to get your t-shirt, a bucket or a pot, something that can hold liquids, and you're going to brew up a pot of coffee. So the first thing you're going to do here is put the old t-shirt into the bucket and cram it down a little bit, and then you're going to take the coffee and just pour it straight over the top. Be careful if your coffee's freshly brewed like mine is, super hot. So once you've got the coffee in there, you're going to want to make sure that the shirt is fully covered. And you're just going to let this sit for, a couple hours. Just check every once in a while to see how the staining is going. And just leave it in there for as long as you think it should, until the color is what you want it to be. Alright, once you're satisfied with the color of the t-shirt, you can go ahead and move on to step 2. This is a really easy step. All you have to do is pull your t-shirt out of the coffee and hang it up. But there is one thing that you do need to remember. This is really important, so do not forget this. Do not, I repeat, do not wring out the t-shirt. I know that would make sense. It would make the t-shirt dry out faster, but you'll lose a little bit of the color, so you don't want to do that. Instead, just hang it up, like a coat hanger or something. And you'll probably want to do it outside because it is really messy. But once you've done that, you can just leave it out to dry. It'll be like this one. It'll just dry out. And I think the lighting in here is kind of washing out the color. So I've got a white t-shirt here. I can just show it to you. There is quite a difference in the color of the t-shirt. So one thing you might notice is that there is some color variation just by the way that the t-shirt was hung. That's alright. It gives the sandbags a little bit of variation once you've put them all together, so it's not a big deal. Alright guys, we're going to start the final part for assembling the sandbags. You're going to need to gather up some materials. So first thing you're going to need is your t-shirt, your dyed t-shirt that's been dried out. You're going to need to get some sand. I prefer a large grain sand, or relatively large grain, just so that it doesn't leak through the, the stitches in the sandbag. You'll also want a plastic spoon. You'll want your sewing machine, like this one here, and you'll want a hot glue gun. So let's go ahead and get started here. You're going to want to take your t-shirt and you're going to want to lay it out flat. I've already started to cut mine up, but you'll lay it out flat on the table like this, and you'll cut out 3 by 3 squares like this one here. This is 3 inches by 3 inches. I'm using these sandbags for my Halo Reach and Halo 4 figures, so that's the size that I picked. Just experiment and see what size you want to do. You know, these could be made really any size you want, so just keep that in mind. So once you've cut out as many of these squares as you want, you're going to want to start putting them together. So you're going to, this side here is the one that I want to be on the outside of the bag when it's finished. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and hold it like this. As you can see, my pen marks are here on this side. And you're going to fold it like this, just in half, like this. And you're going to put some stitches like these here, down the side and at the bottom. It doesn't matter what color your thread is. Mine's kind of like a gold tan color, but really it could be whatever color you wanted. You're not going to actually see it when it's finished. So the next thing you're going to do, once you've got it all sewed together, is flip it inside out. And that's pretty simple. All that does is it hides the seams, you know, where you've put it together, and you have the side that you wanted on the outside originally put out there. So I'm sorry, that was kind of rambly there for a second, but once you get it flipped inside out like this, you can take a pen and just kind of push the corners out. This just helps you get a nice, you know, nice looking bag when you're all finished. So as you can see here, we've got a little bag that is sealed at the side and at the bottom. So what you're going to do is you're going to, oops, bump the camera, pull your sand over and start filling it up. This is where the spoon comes in handy. I think it makes it a lot easier to fill. So fill it up, and every once in a while take it and kind of tap the bottom of the bag like this. And that just kind of pulls all of the air pockets out. So you know exactly how much sand you have in there. So you're going to keep filling it until you get it to about right here. If you can see, it's about a pinky between the top of the sand and the top of the bag. So I think mine needs a little bit more here. I'm going to go ahead and put that in. And don't be afraid to, if you overfill these, to dump just a little bit of sand out of them. There's no shame in that. So once you've filled it up, as you can see here, it's almost at the top. You're going to push your sand out of the way, and you're going to pull your hot glue gun over. And this part is really important, so pay attention. You need to put glue, if it'll focus, on either side of the seam here. And this is really important so that you get a nice good seal on the bag. So see what I did there? It's on both sides. And you're just gonna put the hot glue straight on top of the sand. So now you're gonna take it and you're gonna pinch the hot glue, sealing the bag. Be careful on this step because the hot glue is hot, obviously, so you don't want to burn yourself. So you take that, once it's been sealed, it'll look like this, and you'll just set it over to the side. And then you'll take your, this one I prepared earlier, you'll take this one when it's dried, and you will just cut the end off. Now when you're doing this, you want to make sure you don't cut below the glue line that you made, or you know, it'll just leak all over the place. So go ahead and cut just a little bit off the top, just like that. And now what you're going to do is check this seam up here. and make sure that it doesn't have any leaks in it. This one is fine, but if it did have a little hole over here on the side, just take your hot glue gun and just run a little bit of hot glue on the seam like this, just to seal it up. Pretty simple, easy project, you know, not too bad. And this is just one. What you're going to want to do is make a whole bunch more. As you can see, I've done that. The more of these you make, it seems to me like the better they look. So it's a little tedious, but it does get easier the more you do it. So I'll come back on the backdrop to kind of conclude the video. Alright guys, as you can see, we're set up on the backdrop again, and I've just got these guys posed with the sandbags. I've got the sandbags kind of set up. I think that this project would be good for anyone who wants to, you know, add a little bit of variety to their shelf displays, or kind of change it up in their dioramas. I have it posed with Halo figures, but like I've said before, you can put them with any type of figure you want. You could change the scale to fit, you know, your project. And they're pretty good, I guess, for displays because you can take it apart and set them up however you want. It doesn't have to be a permanent thing. So it's pretty easy to do, as you've seen. You just have to make a lot of them. So if you have any comments or questions, just leave them down in the comments section below. And if you have any ideas for future tutorial projects that I could do, just leave those down in the comments section below as well. Like I said, just leave a comment, and I guess I'll see you later.